I moved into Maple Hollow on October 3rd. A quiet neighborhood, small lawns, low fences, and neighbors who wave just enough to say, "We see you, but don't get too close." The house was cheap, too cheap. A two-story colonial with chipped paint, creaking stairs, and that old wood smell that sits deep in your lungs. The real estate agent said, "It just needs love." But it wasn't love it needed. It was attention. The first night, I noticed something odd. There was a plastic pumpkin on the porch. I hadn't bought it. I figured maybe the neighbors were just welcoming the new guy. So I left it there. By the third morning, there were 3 pumpkins. One on the porch, one on the windowsill, and one perfectly centered on my car hood, each carved with a new expression. The last one had no eyes, just a long slit of a mouth, curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. I called my neighbor, Mrs. Avery. Sweet old lady, always pruning her roses. "Do people around here do early Halloween decorating?" I asked. She paused for a long time, then said, "No, dear, not around here. Just that house." The way she said that house made my stomach twist. Like she wasn't talking about the one I owned, but something else. Something that owned me. A week later, decorations started appearing inside. A black paper bat taped to my kitchen cabinet. A string of orange lights wound around my banister. Then, handprints. Small ones. Dusty, gray, on the inside of the living room window. I lived alone. No friends in town. No kids. No one with keys. Each night, I heard soft thuds from the attic. Not rats. Not footsteps. Something in between. Like something crawling through insulation, slow, patient, deliberate. I tried recording it with my phone once. When I played it back, I didn't hear thumps. I heard whispering. Childlike. Too close to the mic. Repeating one word. Decorate. I tried recording it with my phone once. When I played it back, I didn't hear thumps. I heard whispering. Childlike. Too close to the mic. Repeating one word. Decorate. The next morning, I found a life-sized scarecrow standing in the backyard. Brown hat, plaid shirt, burlap face. It wasn't there when I went to bed. Its arms were outstretched, nailed to a wooden post. But that wasn't what scared me. What scared me was its face. The burlap wasn't painted, it was stitched. Crude, uneven threads forming the shape of my own features, down to the small scar on my cheek. I tore it down that night, burned it, watched it crumble into black ash in the fire pit. But when I woke up the next morning, it was back, standing upright again. Except this time, it was closer to the house. And the slit-mouthed pumpkin from before? It sat on the porch rail beside it, smiling wider now, the edges warped as if stretched from the inside. That was when I started noticing the smell. Rotting wood, damp cloth, and underneath it, something metallic, like pennies soaked in rainwater. Every time I passed the staircase, the scent was stronger, coming from the attic hatch. And sometimes, when the wind blew just right, I could swear I heard it again. That same tiny voice whispering through the vents. Decorate. I decided to stay awake that night. No sleeping. No pretending it wasn't happening. I made coffee, sat by the stairs, and stared at the attic hatch. 3 a.m. came. Then 3:17. Then 3:33. That's when it opened. Not all the way, just a crack. Enough for something to fall out. A small, folded piece of orange paper. It floated down slowly, landing beside my foot. When I opened it, I froze. It was a crayon drawing. A stick figure house. A stick figure person standing outside. And inside the house, rows of other stick figures, all with red eyes. Underneath was one word written in shaky letters. Join. I grabbed a flashlight and climbed the ladder. The air was thick, hot, and wet, like breathing through cloth. Cobwebs hung low, glinting in the beam of my light. And then I saw them. Dozens of handmade decorations, paper bats, pumpkins, streamers, each drawn with childish precision. But what made my stomach twist was that every decoration had a face. And every face was mine. Not just sketched, but traced, like someone had used my photos as templates. My smile, my eyes, my scar, and pinned to the far wall, surrounded by candles made of melted crayons, was a photograph of me sleeping. I dropped the light. Something moved in the dark. It whispered again, close this time. Too close, right next to my ear, almost done decorating. When I woke up, I was in the living room. My clothes were different, torn, and my hands were orange, sticky, covered in dried paint. Around me were decorations, streamers, paper cutouts, pumpkins, hundreds of them, each one carved or drawn in a trembling hand, each one featuring that same hollow-eyed smile. But I hadn't made them. At least, I don't remember making them. I stumbled outside to get help and froze. The yard was full of scarecrows, hundreds, all wearing scraps of my clothes, all facing the house. And one of them was holding my car keys. I tried to run, but the door slammed shut. Every light in the house flickered on at once, each window glowing with an orange hue. And from the walls, the whisper returned, hundreds of voices this time. Children, adults, men, women, all chanting one word over and over. Decorate. Then something stepped down from the attic. It wasn't human. It wasn't anything that could ever be. It was shaped like me, but its eyes were hollow. Its smile, impossibly wide, stretched from ear to ear, drawn in red like crayon wax melting down its face. And it held something in its hand, a mask made of burlap, shaped exactly like my face. They say Maple Hollow still celebrates Halloween differently, that every year one house decorates itself, perfectly, patiently, and that if you pass by just after midnight, you can still hear the whisper through the wind. Join us. The house isn't finished yet. The decorations look just like you. I wasn't planning to hand out candy this year. Halloween always made me uneasy. Too many memories, too much noise. But the neighborhood kids had been excited, and guilt is heavier than fear. So I turned on the porch light. I bought the cheap plastic bowl, filled it with fun-sized chocolate, and waited. The first few knocks were normal. Princesses, zombies, a Batman with his mask upside down. But then came the boy in the paper mask. He stood perfectly still, holding out a pillowcase. The mask wasn't store-bought. It was handmade, painted white with holes cut unevenly for the eyes. He didn't speak, didn't move, just breathed through the paper. I laughed nervously and dropped candy into his bag. "Cool costume," I said. He tilted his head, just a bit. Then he whispered through the mask, "See you soon." When I looked outside, he hadn't gone to any other house. Just stood at the end of my driveway, staring back. Still, waiting. I closed the door and turned off the light. But when I went to bed, I heard footsteps on the porch and a whisper against the glass. Trick or treat. The next morning, I checked the porch. The candy bowl was gone. In its place, that same paper mask. It was wet and heavier than paper should be. I threw it away, but the smell clung to my hands like old dirt and something sweet. Sickly sweet. That night, I heard the knock again. 3 slow raps. Even though it wasn't Halloween anymore. I turned on the porch light. Nobody there. Only the mask. Back on the doormat. This time, folded neatly. And when I picked it up, there was writing on the inside. See you soon. I stopped sleeping. Started hearing small knocks from inside the walls. Sometimes, laughter echoing faintly through the vents. And every night, when the wind blew just right, I swore I could smell that same sickly sweetness. Like candy left to rot in the sun. It's been 3 weeks. Halloween's long over. But last night, I found footprints in my hallway. Small, bare, wet. Leading to my bedroom. The smell was stronger there. And on my bed, resting where my head would be, was the paper mask. Except this time, it wasn't empty. It moved. Something inside it shifted, as if inhaling. The paper flexed with every breath. I reached out, and it smiled. Paper doesn't smile, but it did. The folds stretched, the painted mouth cracked wider, and a voice whispered from inside. I said I'd see you soon. Then, the mask lunged, straight for my face. They found me in my living room the next morning, sitting upright, still wearing the mask. The paper had hardened, fused somehow to my skin. When they tried to pull it off, I screamed. They said I'd been sitting there all night, laughing softly, over and over, muttering something they couldn't make out. But I remember, it was just 3 words, whispered through the paper mouth. Trick or treat. Every Halloween, I carve a pumpkin for the porch. Same table, same knife, same half-watched horror movies playing in the background. It was a ritual that made the season feel safe. Predictable. This year was different, though. The pumpkins at the market were strange. Soft to the touch, like flesh left too long in the sun. And when I cut into one, it bled. Not much. Just a thin, pinkish fluid that smelled faintly like rust and sugar. I laughed it off, told myself it was mold, maybe dye, but when I scooped out the seeds, some of them twitched. I carved the face anyway, a simple grin, triangle eyes. But as the night wore on, I swear the grin got wider. Not dramatically, just slightly stretched. Like the pumpkin was adjusting to my gaze. When I went to bed, I left it outside, lit and smiling. By morning, the candle was still burning, and the face had changed. The eyes were rounder, the mouth smaller, and the nose was mine. I stared at it for a long time. The face wasn't perfect, but the resemblance was close enough to make me sick. I dumped it in the trash and went to work that I heard noises from the porch. Slow, dragging movements. When I looked through the peephole, I saw 5 more pumpkins lined up in a row, each one with a different face. My neighbors, all of them smiling, all of them breathing. But when I got home that evening, it was back on the porch. No candle inside this time. No grin. Just my face. Mouth closed, eyes hollow. And under it, carved into the wood of the step. Why did you throw me away? That night, I dreamed of soil pressing against my chest. I tried smashing them, grabbed the same knife, ran outside, and stabbed the nearest one. It screamed, not loud, more like a baby's cry, muffled and wet. When I pulled the knife out, the blade was slick with something that wasn't pumpkin pulp. Then the others began to twitch, faces shifting, molding, until each one looked more like me. Not exactly identical, but close enough. Dozens of imperfect versions, each grinning wider than the last. Roots shot out from the soil, thin, black, worm-like tendrils, and they wrapped around my ankles. I fell, the ground pulsing beneath me like muscle. Something was pushing up from below. The earth split open, and I saw it. A massive shape, pale orange and veined like living tissue. A single, colossal pumpkin with hundreds of faces bulging beneath its surface. Some I recognized. Some were still forming. Mine was one of them. I don't remember falling asleep, but when I woke up, I was inside, buried in the pulp. I could feel the others around me, twitching, breathing, whispering prayers to the soil. The roots were inside my mouth, inside my lungs, feeding. Every time I try to scream, another face grows on the surface above me, of roots winding through my skin, of something growing inside me. When I woke up, I smelled earth, damp, sweet, suffocating. There was dirt under my nails, and a single pumpkin seed stuck to my palm. If you drive past my house now, you'll see the biggest pumpkin on the block. It's beautiful, smooth, perfectly carved. The face looks calm, serene, even. But if you listen closely, when the wind shifts and the candle flickers, you'll hear something faint, a voice, mine, whispering, "Please don't carve me again." And that was the last time anyone in my town celebrated Halloween. They say every Halloween brings out the monsters in people, but the truth is, most of the monsters never leave. They just wait, patient, beneath the floorboards of our lives, smiling with our faces, breathing through our walls, and whispering when the lights go out. Maybe tonight, you'll hear something too. A footstep where there shouldn't be one. A door creaking open when you're sure you locked it. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll see your own reflection. Blink before you do. If you made it this far, then you've survived another night with me. But remember, survival doesn't mean you're safe. It just means the story isn't finished with you yet. If you want to keep walking this dark road with me, then don't just watch. Join. Subscribe to Mr. Night Tales, where every story breathes, every whisper listens, and every nightmare remembers your name. Sleep well, if you can.